Session 2, Designing Case Studies and Reflections Using AI. For this, I invite Dr. Pramod Kumar to introduce the speaker to us. Over to you, Pramod, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arvind. Good evening to one and all. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's distinguished resource person, Mr. Prakash Hegade. Mr. Prakash Hegade is currently working as an assistant professor at KLE Technological University, Hubli, where he has been contributing to the academics for the past 19 years. He is also pursuing his PhD in problem-based learning. He holds his master's degree from IIIT Bangalore and has completed PG SSP from IIIT Hyderabad. Alongside his academic career, he is the director of NetSpace and has valuable industry experience working with IBM, ISL, and Virtual Labs. Mr. Prakash is a versatile personality. He has published several short ebooks on Smashwords, and interestingly, he also served as the ML of India for NaNoWriMo for 2016 from 2016 to 2024. He maintains two active blogs, one technical and another non-technical, where he continues to share his insights. His research interests span across problem-based learning, mathematical modeling, automata theory, and model thinking. Beyond his professional engagements, he balances a life of academics, research, entrepreneurship, industry work, writing, and reading with remarkable passion. With his with this brief introduction, we are indeed privileged to have him with us today. Now, I invite Mr. Prakash Hegde to take over the session and enlighten us with his talk. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the warm introduction. Yes, sir, I'll get started with the session. But before we go on, I would like to have a quick interaction with all of you. So this is going to be like we will be spending. Before we go ahead, sir, do we have any time for the biological breaks? Like, is there any time limit of 5 to 10 minutes where we can break in between, or like how is the session supposed to be going?
Sir, up to you, sir. If you want to have any breaks in between, we can give.
Okay, we'll see if we can have a quick 5 minutes break. Otherwise, the session is going to go in this way. I'm hoping that you all have, or most of you are sitting either in front of the laptop, because like I said, we'll be doing few short activities so that we'll be designing the case studies itself. We know that our students have been talking a lot about AI. No matter what you do, the assignments are coming up from there. And we have this huge responsibility now where we are actually, as a faculty, we stand in front of them with much better preparedness to see how exactly AI can help us. I know a lot of contents can come in there. I know several of the things which you do can be changed, or maybe find an alternate perspective once when you use AI with them. But what if, as we are already spending our 1.5 hours now, what if there are ways where we actually apply them and see the difference by ourselves on how AI can make our life much better? The session on using AI to design good case studies and reflections is divided into two parts. We'll be seeing the first part today, where we'll be talking about taxonomies and threshold concepts. We'll be coming back again on Saturday evening again on the winding up last session, where we'll be closing it with a further closure. We will be doing several activities together. There will be a common spreadsheet link where we'll be populating certain things. Before we go ahead, I just want to know how many of you are active and how many of you are there. Can I quickly get a hey in the chat window? Just a hey, so that to know that you all are listening and to know that you all are there and we all can get started. Just type in a hey in the chat window. Yeah, quickly hand raise is also fine. Hey, hi, hello. Anything is also perfectly well and fine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, quite good to see a lot of hey coming up. But if you're there, well and good. If you're using actually a mobile phone, then I would highly recommend that please go and fetch your laptop very soon, because we will be doing that. And I know it's a calm, good evening where most of the regions are getting the rainfall, and we have been We have been sitting in a place where I know most of us have been tired with all the work from the day long as well. But as we are spending our time, let us make it more effective so that tomorrow when you walk into your classrooms, you already have a generated case study, which is going to make a difference. And through these two sessions, in the two parts, we're going to have at least 4 to 5 good case studies prepared, which is backed up by the research, which you can directly use in the classrooms. And also you will see the difference on how AI can actually make a difference. I know a lot have been talked about. I know a lot have been told that, okay, this is what AI can do. This is what AI can do. But what exactly is it? The common notion and the common gist is that if I'm a computer science engineer and if I'm giving a query suggestion for a computer science concept, then naturally I feel LLMs are doing an amazing work. And please do remember, using LLM is not just AI. AI has several aspects to it. If I'm a biochemical engineer, if I query about computer science, I get these amazing replies for them. But only a biochemical engineer who is also querying about biochemical can actually realize and recognize how bad the answers are. We know that LLMs are not all the time giving the correct answer. Then how can we guide our students to make sure that they are on the right path? And if there are any good parts coming out of it, then what is the right way to go ahead about it? And please do know that evolution, which has happened so far in the world, has always been or has always seen the initial dissatisfaction from the people. For example, if you go back and check out the previous history, when for the first time pencils were introduced, people used to use the squills and ink, and they were so much unhappy about the invention of the pencil. They said, look, it was such a beautiful expression and an emotion to actually dip in the quill inside the ink and then slowly start writing it in the parchment, because it captured my emotions and it gave me the time to think, and it was such a beautiful experience. Now that pens and pencils have come in, it's taking away all of my experience. Yes, trust me, there was a strike initially which actually said that no, we don't want quills and inks to be replaced. But look what happened now. We generally adapt to it, right? And if we were now told that you have to use a parchment, you have to use a quill and ink to write something, naturally, and of course, we would have been irritated by that, because we don't have so much patience that I'm going to dip it, I'm going to write it, no matter what, whether it is capturing the emotions or not. Similarly, whenever something new comes into us, we know, or we should have the capability to know what is the right part of it and how do I make use of that right part. Of course, it's going to create a delusion, right? Like the way the Gen Z says today. But as a faculty, how can we guide the students so that they use this LLMs in a much better way? And as a faculty, how can I make the effective usage of the AI to actually build right and proper case studies? So this, whatever 3 hours of interaction we're going to have in 2 parts, that is part 1 and part 2, is going to be completely backed up by the research. So it's not going to be like certain theories that I go to an AI, I give certain prompts, I come back and I speak to you all. Rather, I have spent around 3 years of my research time in actually understanding what are the relevant theoretical concepts which can be embedded into AI design. How can we start making the effective use of it, and what is the difference between each of them? Keeping in mind that we all are coming from academics itself, keeping in mind that we all have classes to deliver, we all have responsibilities to be taken over. I think these sessions of 1.5 hour is definitely going to make an impact the way you start using AI and the way you start telling it to the students back as we go. There'll be minimum cases where I'll be using the slides. Today, I'll be using slides only for around 15 to 20 minutes. Otherwise, a lot of it is going to be talking, interaction, you all doing certain things, me doing certain things, and putting up a logically valid closure so that we take the most benefit out of it. Okay. Going ahead, this is what we're going to do. Every time when I explain something, I'm going to tell you what is the research background for that and why exactly do we need to understand it. Okay, that's how we're going to go. Before we start with, what we need to understand is everything that is driven around us is coming through principles. There have been several examples throughout my life which has made me realize that yes, it does make a difference when I talk about it with respect to principality in mind. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me take a very quick example before we get actually into the real aspects of AI so that we start appreciating what does a principle hold to us. When my son was small, this was like around 10 years ago, he used to start uttering, or the first sounds he ever made were the sounds of ah. Like when he got hungry, he said when he was crying for food, his tone went on with respect to amma itself, and that's the first ever word he spoke. Eventually, as he went ahead, he started speaking other notions which came in, like different expressions which captured E and the other sounds of it. That kind of made me realize that this is why probably when we write our swaras and vyanjanas, the very first word which we utter is and then comes a. And no matter what language it is about, it is almost the same. The dialect is almost the same. That's when I realized, because the child can first easily speak the word when it's hungry, we call it as mum or like still starting with a. The basic relations we have, no matter what language we use, like appa, amma, akka, anna, are all starting with a, because is the first word which a child utters. So the way in which the words have been arranged for us to learn was not a random decision by someone to say this is how the words have to appear. The decision was made because that is how a child learns. And I've also noticed it with my daughter as well. They both had similar kind of learning. And I'm pretty sure that if you have a small kid in home, you might have experienced this as well. And that's what I mean when I say learning through principles. When we start questioning out on why exactly this is required, why do we need to be following that, it does make a difference to us. Yes, I'll go a little slow. Okay, I'll go a little slow. I understand. Thank you for notifying that. The whole just in summary of what I'm talking about is, when we know why exactly a thing has been convinced to us, or it is conceived in the formality of learning, the way we learn makes a difference. The moment you start questioning about why do I need to learn this, how do I need to learn this, makes a significant impact on why do I need to learn? Okay, that's what I was talking about as an initial to go with. What are the requirements before we get started? As and when we go, I'll keep introducing to little small concepts coming from the research background. And as and when we go, I'll be giving certain examples for that. If you have a book and pen with you, I want you all to note the first key point which I've talked about is knowing principles on why something has been coined is very important, for which I took up the example on why the sounds usually start with a. Coming to the second key point. In your book, if you have been writing or if you're taking notes, I want you all to write a small sentence about zone of proximal development. Okay, what do I mean by zone of proximal development? It's also popularly called as ZPD. A lot of learning theories which have been coined, a lot of new pedagogies which have come in today have been influenced by the learning theories which has come up with us pioneers. And the pioneers have told us that the way in which we learn is usually by establishing the connections. The machine learning, the way in which you connect to the neurons, the deep neural networks, if you're coming from the computer science background, holds this implication that when we learn, we connect to the different theories which is there and known to us, and reaching out or extending by building a bridge to the unknown concepts. The key theory behind a lot of learning theories and pedagogies, either it has been taught by John Dewey or it has been told by pioneers of different learning pedagogy, are all talking about liminality or zone of proximal development. Zone of proximal development talks about how to know what is known by the student and how to connect it to the unknown factor of the student. Every concept that we teach in the class has this bridge between known and the unknown. We are going to explore this exact same context to build a bridge to connect between the known and unknown using the AI for that. Because if I was manually sitting and designing a case study, it could have taken for me at least more than 2 to 3 weeks even to formulate one case study. I know that a lot of us are using Bloom's taxonomy to design our case studies. I know a lot of us are probably using the learning outcomes which are there to design the case studies. We'll kind of put it all together to explore the first key concept of zone of proximal development. That's what we are going to do. What I want you all to do now is, there'll be a small, I'll share my screen. This is the first time sharing the screen now. Okay, so I'll be sharing a screen. Yes. Okay. I'm hoping you all are able to see the screen which I've shared now. And this is what we are going to do. Okay. As soon as I give edit permission to this sheet, I want you all to be coming up to the sheet and writing your name by picking up a row. Okay, any one of the row which you find is more appropriate. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Let me also introduce one. I see that there are people from different domains which are there. I'll just say insert one column to left. I think that would be more appropriate this side. We'll have this here and I'm going to say domain. Okay, and that's what we are going to do. So as soon as I share this link to you all, I want you all to be picking up a row. Okay, so there are several rows here. I know there are 200 of us, but I'm not sure how many of us are active. But pick any one of the row and write your name here. After writing that name, let's say if you're from engineering domain, you can just write engineering. And if you are in engineering, if there is any specific to that, say for example, CSC, I just want you to write that. If you're from pharmacy, you can write the same. If you're from any other domain, please do write that. Okay, that's going to be the first exercise which we'll be doing. I'll go ahead and share the link for you all now. Please don't write anything other than this. Okay, let me clearly explain it once again. Please don't write anything else. Each of the column which is here along with whatever relevant theory is required, we're going to go slowly. That's what we're going to split in. But for now, you're just going to write your name and you're going to write your domain. Also, please do keep a LLM open. Okay, either it can be Gemini, either it can be ChatGPT, either it can be DeepSeek, whatever is comfortable to you all. Please do open up a LLM so that we'll be doing this further task together. Okay, let me go ahead and share this link. So I'll be giving permission to all of you. Okay. With the right permission. Done. So I'll copy this link into the chat window. Yeah. So please do head on to the link. Please do pick up a row and write your name. Okay. And further, I'll give you all a minute for that. And after that, I'll tell you all what to do next. Okay. Any row. Okay. Make sure that there is no conflict. You can pick up anyone which is there in any of the lines. That's totally okay. Just put your name and put the domain you're from. Okay. That's what we're going to start with. Okay. And this is what we're going to do. Okay. For the entire session, we'll be doing everything together. There is a reason on why we have been collaborating in this way, because we'll also get to see maybe the point of collaboration once when the session ends on how we can correlate with each other and how we can possibly design the combined studies. Okay. Please do know there are a lot of rows below as well. So pick up something below. Please don't overwrite if someone else has written there. Please do pick up another row so that we all can go together and we all can learn from each other coming from different domains as well. Okay. And the more the diversity, the better is going to be our learning. I'm happy to see that Madhvi ma'am is from humanities department. We have people from mechanical. Yes, Pradeep Kumar sir, communicative English, Poonam ma'am. We have Sirisha ma'am. Good to see that. If you're active, please do come onto the sheet and please do write your name and the domain you're coming from. Kavita ma'am is from MBA. Good to see that. Yes. I'll quickly come back and verify further deets as we go ahead. Yes. The link has been shared. It's in the chat window. If you want, I'll have shared the link once again. Please do come back to that. That's how slowly, collaboratively, we are going to do certain activities. Okay. And that's how we are going to go ahead. I'll give you all 1 more minute. Please do go ahead and fill up your name. So I'll preferably pick up my entire sheet itself. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I can see around 30 of you already there. And I can see around 50 of you registered into the sheet. So please do pick up. Don't overwrite anyone else's. I'm happy to see that Jayanti ma'am is from textile. Okay. In the meantime, when you write it, let me go back and explain what do we mean by threshold concept. Okay. Because that's what we have written it here, right? Now we need to know like what is a threshold concept. Okay. If you have written the name and if you're back here, okay, it should be like a few seconds activity. Happy to see there are a lot of names coming in. Yes, feel free to pick the one below as well. I'll be scrolling through the entire sheet so that there is no overwriting. And please do, and row number we'll be using it. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. Let's come back. Okay. Shraddha ma'am, kindly give it some time. If there are more people, it will allow you to slow down. There's a limitation on which the number of people can actually edit the spreadsheet. What you can also do is open a local sheet and copy back your data later because this will be open for the entire week. Okay, there'll be exercises coming in. If you're unable to edit, please do remember there are certain limitations, but I think it should be possible. Yeah. Shobha ma'am, the same. If you're unable to edit the sheet, please do wait for some time because once when people get out, there is usually a limitation of 70, but you should be. Otherwise, don't worry. Okay. Once when people come, half of the people come out of the sheet, you should be able to. Okay. Yes. I'm pasting the sheet once again here so that it'll be easy for you all to go ahead. Please do keep and copy the link. You can always come back and edit the sheet later once when we take a break or after the session before we come in Friday, because that's what we will be needing for the entire part. Okay. Now, if you have edited your name, you can drop the sheet. You can come back. There is no worry in that so that others could edit. Once when you're back and if you're listening, just give me AYE. Okay. Type me I in the chat window so that let's understand what is a threshold concept. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. Shall we go on? If I see at least 30 eyes, I'll go ahead and I'll start explaining what is a threshold concept and how we can make use of AI to actually get the threshold concept. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I can see around 4 eyes coming in. It's more like I captain. That's what we are saying to each other. Okay. Yeah. Edit your name, edit your domain. You can come out of the sheet. You can always come back so that others can edit. If you're unable to edit, please maintain a local copy. You can further come back and edit after a while or in the later evening also. Okay. That should be perfectly fine. Okay, don't worry. There's a limitation on the sheet. It's possibly because of that, but don't worry. Like I said, you can always come back and edit later also. Okay. Yeah, I want to see some more eyes so that we can go ahead and discuss and start understanding what is threshold concept. Okay. By the way, I'll say it once again. I'm naturally known to be speaking very fast. In case if you find I should slow down, please do let me know. I'll be happy to slow down. But you don't want me to be speaking in this speed, right? Like if I go ahead and say ki this is the speed, you don't want like this speed, right? And I know you want me to be speaking in this speed because it's very difficult to catch up what we are talking. But sometimes I get hyper excited and I start talking very fastly, which I know is going to be problematic for you all, but I think I can settle somewhere in the right grounds where we are interacting and understanding in the right way to go. Okay. So those who have joined in late, there is a spreadsheet link. We have talked about the principles. We have talked about zone of proximal development. We're going to go back to the research-based concept to understand what are threshold concepts now. And I believe this was published years ago in Cambridge Analytica. Every professor who's taking a class needs to understand what is a threshold concept. Okay, that's what we're going to do now. Because unless we know that, we can't actually go ahead and understand and make the benefit of AI. Okay. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Arvind sir, for pointing out that you just need to enter your name, and those who are late, you just need to enter your name and your domain. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I see a lot of eyes coming in. By the way, none of you commented on the kind of speed which you want. Should it be much more faster like this, which I'm talking, or should it be slower like I'm talking now, or should we settle somewhere in the middle grounds where we all understand and neither it becomes too boring? Okay, it's okay. Okay, Sonali ma'am says it's okay. I'm hoping the same with others as well. Yes. Yes. Okay, it's okay. Okay, perfectly fine. Now let's get into threshold concept. I want to hear. Okay, yeah, I want to hear now yes and no from you all for the question which I'm going to ask. Okay, how many of you believe for the course which you're teaching? Okay, no matter what domain you've been coming from, whether it is engineering, whether it is MBA, whether it is medicine or whatever it is, how many of you believe that for the course which you are teaching? Okay, yeah. The course which you're teaching, there are certain concepts which changes the way your students think, right? See, they're difficult to understand. They are transformatory. They change or introduce certain new things to your students. There are certain concepts in your course. When you teach them, it gives your students, I think this is something which I find exciting. Or there are certain concepts in your classroom, in your course, when understood, and it's going to take a lot of examples for you all. Like say you explain something, then students tell you, I couldn't understand it, ma'am, I couldn't understand it, sir. Then you further go ahead, give some more examples, and then they'll tell, oh, okay, I still don't know what exactly you're talking about. And then you keep on talking about it. And that's when you understand, oh, this is probably one of the problematic concept in my course. Okay, so there are there is every course that you teach or you have studied, there are certain concepts which actually change the way students think. They transform and take the student from one conceptual understanding to another conceptual understanding. Now, these kind of concepts are called as threshold concept. There is actually a long related research on how to identify these threshold concepts. But because there is LLM now, it becomes very much easy for us to understand what exactly is a threshold concept and how to go ahead and understand about it. What we are going to now do is, okay, this is what I'm going to do together. Okay, let me share my screen again and I'll come back and revise you all with certain things again. But as we go ahead, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, yeah, I see a lot of names have been entered. That's really good. Others, don't worry, you can always come back and write. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, do you see this? I'm coming from domain CSC, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for the LLM. You can pick up your favorite LLM as well. The way I'm doing, you can also actually do it on LLM, which you would prefer, and type the exact prompt which I'm talking now. Okay, what you're going to say is, you're just going to say, list me all the threshold concepts for the course. Don't hit enter until I say, okay. And I'm hoping that all of you are able to see what I'm typing, right? Shall I also, what I'll also do is I'll go to the chat window and also paste this prompt for you all so that it will be easy for you all. Okay. Yes. So what I'll say is list me all the course and I'll say course name. Okay. So the prompt is also in the chat window. What I want you all to do is don't hit the enter key yet. Okay. List me all the threshold concepts for the course algorithms, make a list and okay, and no need of description. Sorry, some issues with my keyboard. Okay. See what I've told us. List me all the threshold concepts for the course. I'll make it a little more specific. Okay, whatever course you are teaching. Now, what I want you all to do is when you give the course name, okay, this part which I've highlighted now, when you give the course name, please give the course where you want to design a case study. Okay, by end of this workshop or by end of this session, I want to make sure that you all have a case study generated which you can directly use in the class. If your semester has got over, pick a course which you'll be teaching next. Or if you're right in between the semester, that's perfectly amazing. Pick something which you can actually use this case study right into your classrooms by next week. Okay, because we would be needing another session on Saturday to complete it. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to hit a enter. Okay, and now it's going to give me a list of all the threshold concepts. Do you see here? So it has listed me all the threshold concepts. And I'm kind of still confused on like what is a threshold concept, right? So I'll just now tell me what is a threshold concept in 3 points. See, sometimes LLM gives you very long answers, which you might find irritating to read, right? I have just said, tell me what is threshold concept in 3 points. Before it gives you the answer, please do know what I've said earlier, that there are certain concepts in the course which are transformatory, which takes the students from one level of understanding to another, which gives them this eureka moments, which gives them this pleasure of, oh, I understood something new today. Or those concepts which are troublesome, which are very difficult to understand, which requires a lot of teachers' intervention. And every course has at least few concepts which are of this nature. And I'm pretty sure that that's what LLM is going to list now. Do you see that? It's transformative. Once understood, it changes the way the students thinks about it. It's irreversible. Once when you unlearn, it reshapes your understanding. It's integrative. And this is the reason why we have put out a spreadsheet here so that we can actually see how we are going to collaborate and what we are going to do with it. Okay, that's what we are talking about. So that's what a threshold concept means. Now, what I want you all to do is from the concepts which are listed here, okay, I want you all to pick one concept because we will be generating now the case study on this concept itself. Okay. I want you all to pick one of them. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It is asking you whether you want to separate into core and advanced. Don't worry about it. Pick any one of the problems. Once when you give a specific course name, it will definitely list you all the things. So what I'm going to do is From this one, I'm going to identify one of the important core concept and I'm going to enter that here. So I'm going to pick depth first search and breadth first search as two threshold concept. It doesn't matter what you pick. If you're not from computer science, don't worry at all. Like I said, this is going to be purely about what we are going to explore about that. And I want you all to pick one of the threshold concept itself. Okay, say for example, I'm going to ask, is DFS and BFS a threshold concept? The reason why I didn't list out is it is too generic in my course level. Okay, so let's see what it is answering. So it says not usually considered, yeah, but they are important technique, right? It's a graph traversal. Okay, fine. So what I'll do is it says to require graph traversal. Okay, the concept of graph traversal is closer to the threshold concept. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and say, please do make this as my threshold concept now. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So what I did is my DFS and BFS directly are not threshold concepts. I just took the concept of graph traversal and then I made it as a threshold concept because I want to generate a case study on this part now. And that's exactly what we're going to do as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and edit this a little so that we have our wrapping done there. It will be much clear for all of us. Okay. Yes. I'm hoping this part is fine with everyone. Does anyone have any doubts with any part so far? Like what exactly is a threshold concept? Anything which you all want to? What you can do is you can put that in the chat window. Please do know that before we go ahead, I want you all to be understanding what is threshold concept, because this is one of the most important problems that we do. There is no meaning in generating a case study where students don't find it very difficult to understand. And as we go ahead and put forth the right theoretical concepts, the right pedagogies to them, LLMs can do wonder with you. Is there anyone, by the way, who got a message saying for your course, there is no threshold concept available? It could happen as well. Okay, that's going to happen to some of the courses. If you can let me know in the chat window, was there anyone or did anyone have this message coming out to say in this course that you have, you don't have threshold concept listed out? Or you can also do this. Take up the output which was there, give the course name, and you can also paste it in the chat window so that we can see that what were the different threshold concepts which was listed out for you. Okay, you can do that as well. Have you all been doing along with me? I'm hoping the answer for that is yes. And feel free to share your threshold concepts which are there. In the meantime, let me go back to the sheet and see what exactly are the threshold concepts which are listed out here. So Atha says determinacy and indeterminacy. Yes. So there are a lot of models which are there for determinacy and indeterminacy, and it is definitely a right part to design a case study. Okay. Anil sir says AC and DC circuits, conservation of energy, which is on the first law of thermodynamics said by Shiv Shankar sir, gyroscopic couple from mechanical by S. Navya. I'm hoping, ma'am, okay, sorry if I mess up with that, okay. Context shapes communication by Charlie sir. Yes, that could be essay writing by K. Arvind sir. Yes. Right multi-stage process, planning, drafting, communication, English by RF sir. Yes, exactly. Okay. I want to see those kind of complicated concepts, which are usually very difficult to go ahead and write. Okay. Data leakage, communication coming from information systems, Joyjit sir, anything else. Okay. Please do fill it up, whatever you have. Like I said, it's going to be a session where we'll be using the case studies as we go ahead itself. Okay, so whatever you have, please do put forth so that we all can learn. We can also see several other collaboration points which can come forward for us. Okay, go ahead. I'll give around 1 more minute, maybe. We can take 1 more minute and list out. In the meantime, if anyone got an answer saying, hey, look, your course doesn't have a threshold concept. Okay, then yes, that could be a possibility as well. Okay. And like I said, sometimes it is not. The LLM suggested me that DMFS and BFS by themselves are not threshold concepts, but I can take graph traversal because it is underlying concept under that. And that's what I did here because graph theory was listed out here. Okay. Please do understand we are picking something which is very complicated, where threshold concept is something which is transformative, which is irreversible, which is integrative. Okay. It reveals a connection across different concepts. And we want to set a case study for these kind of concepts in our course. Makes sense, right? Because that's what is much more effective. Okay. So far makes sense. Good enough to go. I can see a lot of data and input coming in. I think we can go ahead and we can further try to understand the other aspects of it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me come back to the screen. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm just checking out on the different, if there is any comment. Faisal sir, problems or resources that focus on threshold based. Yes, we'll do that. I think Faisal sir, the moment we go ahead and set up a case study, I think it's going to make I think naturally you'll get in the different resources there. Okay, hold on for that. Yes, Sahil sir, please do. Like I said, sometimes spreadsheet has a limitation. What I would recommend is if you're not allowed to enter or edit in the spreadsheet, have it locally, come back later at night and enter your data so that we all can go in line for the next part when we meet back on Saturday and when we continue. Okay, because this session is going to be continued again on Saturday itself. So we'll be going with a continuation. Today, our major objective is to understand taxonomies and threshold concepts. Okay, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that. If you're not able to edit, have it in your local copy, paste it in the chat window. We'll be going forward ahead with that. Okay. So far, good and fine. Yes. Okay. If you're finished so far, can I get, please do mention, I'm hoping all of you watch your sports or have, or say, okay, let's go with this. Type me your favorite snack in the chat window. If you're done with all the editing and working, and if you're ready to understand the next concept, like say, for example, if your favorite snack is masala dosa, please do type masala dosa in the chat window. Whatever is your favorite eatable item. Okay. I know it could kind of make you hungry considering it's 8:40 and it's already your dinner time, but hold on. Sometimes because of learning, it can wait. Okay. The TLC member at the background says biryani. Yes, there is dosa coming in. I want to see mirchi bhaji. You can also mention samosa. You can also mention, I know ghee karam dosa. Kyun yaar? Like, I know listening to that makes you much more hungry, but let's go ahead with it. Any kind of sweets, vada pav. I'm hoping Anil sir is from Mumbai, hoping that. Okay. Pav bhaji. Okay. Vada pav again. Anything else? Okay. What else? What else is your favorite snack? If I see at least 5 more, we'll move on to the next part. Okay. And we'll try to understand a little bit about taxonomies next. And this is the only part. Okay. Fafda jalebi, pani puri. Okay. And this is the only part where I'm going to use the slides a little bit because it's essential. Idli dosa. Okay. Jamun, gulab jamun, puri. Okay. Good enough. I had said 5. Chapati. Okay. Vazwan. I'll have to search out what is Vazwan, by the way. Okay. Yes. So yeah, I think it's a good indication that we can go ahead. I can see a lot of eatables coming in. In the meantime, if you have written what is a threshold concept, I assume there is no one having any doubt on what is a threshold concept. Let's go back and understand a little bit about taxonomies now. Okay. Now, like I said, this is the only place where I'm going to use slides for a little bit. Okay. Because it is required and you will see why. For rest of the session, we'll not be going, we'll be doing hands-on. So let's get back there. Let me share my screen again. Let's go there. Kaju katli, idli sambar. Yes, yes, exactly. Okay, it's a Kashmiri set of dishes. Thank you so much for confirming that. I'm definitely going to Google and search it out soon after the session ends out. Okay, yes. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So let's understand a little bit about, like I said, it's a 2-part session. And today we are going to see about taxonomies and threshold concepts. We already got a brief about what is a threshold concept. Let us understand a little bit about taxonomies. I know you already have certain knowledge on it, but hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's take a small case study. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'll have to go with this. Okay. Yes. Let's take a small case study. Okay. A student walks into library. And let's say the first task which the student does is recalls where the storybooks are kept in the library. Okay. So see, this is just a simple scenario. Okay. Please do be with me. Like I said, we have minimum slides. Please don't run away, go away, because this is going to be interesting to know. How will I now use AI to put this part into the case study which we are generating? Okay. So the student first recalls where the storybooks are kept. Let's say you have a favorite storybook and you know that's where the book is kept. This is one of the actions. The second action is the student realizes that storybooks are grouped by author and the subject. Okay. I have gone into the full slide mode. Can someone confirm me we are good to go and everything is audible and fine? Arvind sir, are we good and fine? Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir. We're all good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, don't worry. We'll take a quick 5 minutes bio break very soon. I know you all been sitting from a long time, but let's finish this up. Okay. So the second task is realizing that story groups are grouped by the author and the subject. The third part is the student now says, okay, let me use a system to quickly find my favorite novel. And this system can be varying in multiple ways. Like, for example, I will build a software for that. Or I'll remember a mental system key, this shelf, this number, this is where I'm going to go and find my book. Okay. And that's the third part. The student also notices that some books are borrowed more often than others and compares why. For example, why is this book getting so famous? I open up to the last page of the book. By the way, we are talking about the old age library, not the new digital one. Okay, a digital one could also have a catalog. I see the last page and I understand, okay, some books are getting borrowed a lot of times. It means too many people are reading it. Maybe it's very popular. The next task is the student comes and says, hey, look, you need to rearrange your shelves so that the books which have been accessed a lot, keep it in front so that it becomes more accessible. That's one. And the last one is, why don't you design a new catalog system that makes searching easier for everyone? Okay, this is the way in which you can understand a system. This is one perspective of understanding a system. Okay, it need not be the final ultimate way of understanding a system. Let's take alternate second perspective. Okay, the second perspective is that student walks into the library and student remembers where the different books are kept. Okay, like, okay, this is where the different books are kept. The student also uses a system to locate and borrow the favorite novel. Like say, okay, a catalog is built, you borrow. And you can see there is a difference between the way this system is perceived and the previous one is, right? The third part in categories, students somehow thinks, hey, look, this library organization is very similar to the way I organize my books in my home. For example, all the materials of social studies are kept in one rack, science is kept in one rack, English is kept in another rack. I'm using the school terminology subjects because it's more relatable to all of us. So suddenly your mind starts connecting, I've seen this somewhere. Like say, somebody has already used this kind of a system. That's a third one. The fourth insight says your friend walks in and the student now says that, okay, let me help you. Okay, let me help you find a book. Because the student realizes that learning is also about people. Hey, look, I'm going to help my friend, or I'm going to call my friend and say that book is available in that shelf. You can actually go and read it and it might be beneficial for you. Along with that, the student starts reading, starts building that emotional connect to it, builds a love for reading. And I say, hey, look, books are so important. It's giving me so much of knowledge to go ahead. Along with that, discovers new way of exploring the library catalog for future learning. Like say, what am I going to do? How am I going to find all the related books? Like what is the way exactly to go ahead and see what are the new things which I'm going to read? Do you see the difference between the perception which I presented in the previous case and the perception which is given here? For example, as you can see in this previous one, it was more about what was borrowed, how to make the shelf better, and so on. Whereas a second one has more of emotional connect, has more of understanding about the people, has more about helping others, is more about exploring the catalog. Let's see a smaller third dimension of the same past. That is, a student walks into the library, but doesn't know how the books are arranged. I'm in a mess. I'm like, there are so many books. How do I get to know where the books are? Okay, this is the third perspective now. Then I understand one fact. Okay, the story books are kept there. Now I realize I just learned one thing. Okay, I just learned one small thing. Hey, look, story books are on that shelf. Maybe there is some category by which the library arranges. Imagine I've walked into the library for the first time and I get to know that, okay, this is how the arrangement happens. Now I start gathering several facts. I say, hey, look, I think the books have been categorized based on author, subject, genre, or whatever you want to go around, but there is some sort of organization which we can see now. The difference between the second and the third one is that you're learning many facts now, not just one fact. That's how incrementally we learn as well. Now you understand the relationships. Once when you understand that, you get to know that arrangement now helps me to find the books efficiently. I can make the operations of library very much better. And I get to see that, okay, this is a relationship between the task and the things you have with you. coming up to the last part, you now understand that, okay, I need to design a new catalog system so that I could improve the libraries everywhere. Can I build such a system which actually makes this operations much more easier and faster? And that was my next perspective. Now that we have seen 3 different perspectives, can you pick your favorite one? Okay, tell me which is your favorite, the first one, second one, or the third one. The first one just listed about what was happening. Second one was more about human connect, helping a friend, where the library was, and so on. The third part was actually about getting the fact one by one and slowly building. Do you want me to type and chat all of them in the chat window, like first, second, third? Would it be helpful? Yes, no? Shall I do that? Take up the first one, put it in the chat window, second chat window, third chat window. And I want you all to pick your favorite one. Okay, the first, second, or third. Which one was it? Okay. Yes. Yeah, I will do that. Okay, I will do that. What I'll quickly do is I'll possibly go to all of them and I'll say, I'll give that. Okay. That might help you all to go ahead and learn things in a better way as well. Okay. Okay, let's get to that. Okay, those who have missed out, those who would still require some remembering. Okay, the first one is pasted in the chat window. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and connect and put for the second one into the chat window. Okay. Okay. Go through them, and I'm going to go back and put for the third one into the chat window as well. Okay. And I want you all to select your favorite one, like whatever you think is best connect to you and whatever you think is the right way to go ahead and what do you think is the right learning style. Okay. There are 3 of them. So I can see a lot of 2 coming in. Okay. Is it because of the emotional connect? Like, why is it 2? Okay. It's like, why is it 2? But everybody are able to see the first, second, and third, right? I'm hoping that's visible for all of you. It's in the chat window. So pick up your favorite. I can see a lot of 2s coming in. Okay. I can see a lot of 2 coming in, but if you have anything else, that should be perfectly well to go. Okay. So go on. Yes, there's a lot of 2 coming in. Anything else? Please do let me know in the chat window. Okay. Okay. I see some 3. Senthil Kumar sir, Vinod sir says 3, Pramod sir says 3, Ravishwara ma'am, sorry, sir, I'm really sorry, says 3 again. I can see, okay, Shiv, I'm kind of surprised with something. Okay, this is going to be a major learning for all of us, and you're going to be surprised as well. Okay, you're going to be surprised what's going to come up next. I can see a lot of 2 and 3 coming in. Why is nobody picking 1, by the way? That's kind of surprising for me to see. Okay, like why not 1? Why all of us are aligned to second and third? Okay, if we finally have 1 going with 1, it's yeah, I can just read the ID, but there's no name coming in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are finally 1s dropping by as well, but as we can see, the majority is among 2 and 3, right? Okay. Any more? Shall we go ahead and reveal what exactly were we doing and what are they? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is what we'll do now. Now let's try to understand what are these 3 and how is it connected to generation of case studies and why are we and how are we relating them? Okay, let's see that. Let me share my screen again. You are going to be quite a little surprised with what's going to come up next. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. We did see this, right? Okay. You know, the first one which we saw is actually remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Okay, this is one taxonomy. The second one had about foundational knowledge, application, integration, blah, 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 like whatever is written here. You all can read that, right? I don't want to read again whatever is there. The third one was about the way in which you structure and finally coming up with an extended abstract. Can someone tell me which of them is actually a Bloom's taxonomy here? Is first one, second one, or third one? Which of them is a Bloom's taxonomy? Okay. As you can see, there are different names given out now and different labels given out. Which of them is Bloom's taxonomy? We all have been using it from a very long time, right? And as you can see, 3. That's like I said, that's the only slide we had for the entire 3 session. Okay, so which one? First one is the Bloom's taxonomy, right? Okay, do we all love then Bloom's taxonomy or not? Now, do you all see what has happened? It means we are still not aware of different taxonomies which are existing. We have only stick to the Bloom's taxonomy because maybe we are mandated for that. But at least for the generation of case studies, generation of every other reflections that we are doing, there is no mandate that we have to stick to the case study. That's exactly right. The first one was actually Bloom's taxonomy, and second and third are something else. Hardly 2 or 3 of you have actually picked up that one was your favorite. It means, don't you all see that the way in which we are using Bloom's taxonomy might actually be outdated? I know there are certain mandates coming from bodies that we have to use them. All our lesson plans are catering to them. But at least for the case studies and question preparation, can we go for alternative taxonomies? The second taxonomy is actually called as FINKS. Okay, I'm going to type that in the chat window. FINK is the name for that. The third one is actually called a solo taxonomy. So we can arrange the way by which the learners learn using more than Bloom's taxonomy. So for the case study that we are going to generate, we are not going to stick to Bloom's taxonomy. For the reflections and assessment, which is going to come back later, we will definitely go for Bloom's taxonomy. But we'll explore the taxonomies which is relevant for our case study and then use the appropriate one. Now, this is where exactly AI and LLM is going to help you all. If LLM and AI was not there, probably it would have taken me months' time to explore the different taxonomies and then use them one by one. But because now we have the capability, we can explore whatever is required and then use the right one. And as you saw, solo was actually something which most of you said, that is the third one, and FINKS was also picked up by many. So maybe for case studies, Bloom's is not the right way to go. And when we give this kind of prompts to the case studies that we generate, it's going to be a lot more effective. So let's do that next prompting to the LLM which we are using. Pick up again your favorite LLM, whatever you were doing. Okay, so yeah, sorry. I'll close this one. We don't need to go with the slides anymore. Yeah, so I'll be just closing this one. We don't need that. So let's go back and let me share my screen. And I'll just go and say now that, okay, I'm coming back to this. Okay. So I'm going to say, this is what you all can do as well. Okay. Yes. List me different and do it along with me. Okay. List me different taxonomies. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And please add, just make a list. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's make it more clear. Okay. We'll just say education taxonomies. Okay. Because we all are in teaching and learning. There might be other taxonomies as well. So the LLM might get confused. I'm just saying list me different education taxonomies. Just make a list. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Let's see how many is it going to list. Okay. So here is a list of different taxonomy. Bloom's, yes. Solo, which we saw. FINKS, which we saw. Marzona's, Anderson's, Webb's knowledge of depth. Do you all see the different taxonomies which are coming in here? You see that, right? When there are so many taxonomies available for us, which can make our case study much more effective, there is no mandatory that we have to stick only to the Bloom's taxonomy for the case study generation. I think we have all the rights to explore more than what is required. What I'm now going to do is, okay, for the threshold concept I selected, type it along with me. Okay, I selected, which is graph traversal. So what I'm going to do now is, see, you all are in the sheet, right? Okay, copy this, or you can type it also. Okay, that's what I'm doing now. So I'm going to say for the threshold concept which I selected, which is a graph concept of graph traversal. This is what I'm going to say. Okay, which I selected. I want to generate a case study. Select me, or you can say, suggest me a right. Trust me, once when we have a final case study with us, you will be amazed by the wonders which LLM can create. Okay. And this is what I want you all to type. I'll be also pasting this in the chat window so that you all can make it easy. The place where I've written concept of graph traversal, you will be writing the threshold concept which you have selected. Okay, that's how it's going to be. So let me paste that in the chat window as well, so that will be easy for you all. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. I'm just going to cut the main part which is required. Okay, and that's in the chat window now. Okay. So see, for the threshold concept, I selected in the double brackets, enter whatever you have selected. Okay, I want to generate a case study. Suggest me a right taxonomy. Okay, that's what I'm telling now. And let me see like what it is going to suggest. If it is blooms, we're going to go for blooms. Okay, do you see that? It has suggested me, okay, it depends on the best fit taxonomy depends on what you want to emphasize. Okay. Okay. It has listed me 3. Okay. It has told me solo, Fink and Bloom. Okay. But we'll go for the topmost one. We'll just say that. Okay. We'll just say select me one top. Okay. That's what I'm going to select me one topmost. That's what I'm going to do. So it says solo for me. Okay. So currently it tells me that solo is the best taxonomy for me to learn the graph traversal. Okay. Can you all tell me in the chat window what is for yours? Like, is it suggesting something alternative or something else? So what did we do? I'm just saying for the threshold concept, which I'm generating a case study, I want a best fit taxonomy. For me, it listed out 3, and from the 3 I asked for top one, and it has given me solo taxonomy to be used. And that's what I'll be using later. For you all, what is that it has recommended? So what we'll do is we'll go back now before we go in there. And I'm going to say insert one column to the left, right? Yeah. So I'll say one column to the left. And here we are going to add the taxonomy. Okay. And I'm going to write here solo. So check out what do you have. Please come back and add. Okay, I'm going to minimize this a little, making space. So write up the taxonomy which you got a suggestion with. Okay, so let me wrap this up. Yeah. So I see that Madhvi ma'am has got a solo as well. Okay, Bloom's revised taxonomy to Dr. Sonali ma'am. Yes. I see that for a lot of them, there's a suggestion coming up with solo. I'm just scrolling. Okay, Bloom's. For chemistry, for Schrodinger equation, it has suggested Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, that's good to see. Revised Bloom's. Okay, yeah. Athar sir, I'm just going to, copy paste it. Okay, so let's do that. Format, I'll just align this. Okay. Yeah. So I see that there is slow. I'm kind of looking for if there is anyone suggested with Finks or anything. And I'm hoping you all are not writing your own taxonomy, right? I want you all to be writing the taxonomy which was suggested by LLM. Okay. So whatever it suggested you as a best taxonomy. Okay. Please do write that one. Don't write the taxonomy which you want to follow. Pick up that one best taxonomy to understand this concept. Okay. So please do write that one and not the Bloom's, not the direct Bloom's one. Write the one which the LLM suggested to you. Okay. If it has suggested any alternative, well and fine. I want to see some more coming in, and I can see a lot of solo coming in. You need not write solo. If it suggested you Finks, if it suggested you anything. However, in the case study, we are going to try with alternatives. Okay. Here in this case, they're just trying to identify what other options we have and how can we make it better. Okay. Yeah. So please go with that. So in the meantime, while we write it, we're going to take a quick, For those who are not able to edit the document, again, I'll repeat, please do have a local copy. You can come back and edit it later when the session gets over, but do edit it because we are going to use it again for Saturday. So we're going to take a quick water break of 2 minutes. Okay. Yes, just for 2 minutes. If you want to have a sip of water, if you want a quick, relax your muscles and have a quick exercise, do that, then we'll be exactly back in 2 minutes. In the meantime, if any questions, please do post it in the chat window so that we will talk about it. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Solo. Okay. Is it correct? Revised. Yeah. Sonali ma'am, I couldn't understand the question. Okay. Yes. So whatever taxonomy you had, please do write it. Okay. And like I said, please take a quick water break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. Exactly 2 minutes. And in the meantime, if any questions, please do let me know. And as much as possible, try to explore different ones, okay? Because we know that we generally always use Bloom's. Yeah, in the meantime, in the 2 minutes, I'll just be talking around, okay? Okay, sure. Yeah, that can always be corrected, okay? Yes, it's a water break. Please come back in 2 minutes, okay? Could get. Sonali ma'am, yes. If it is suggesting the new one, then it could be, okay? Because LLMs have the capability to go and understand your threshold concept and it suggests you the right taxonomy. It might do a better justice. So what we'll do is, okay, if it suggested Bloom's level 4 and solo, then I think you'll have to verify, is it really a threshold concept? Because sometimes you might have just got a simple concept, which is not a threshold concept. Okay, you can verify with that too. However, when we generate the case study, what we'll be doing is we'll be verifying with more than one. Okay, don't worry on that. So whatever suggestion it has taken, let us take it. Let us verify later how it's going. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if Bloom's is suggested, then don't worry. Maybe once when we use different taxonomies, it will be more clear too. And see, for certain concept, Bloom might be the right one. Okay, it could be giving you the right answer as well. But what you should know is there are several lot of taxonomies, right? Like it's just not one or two. I'm just going to make a list which I got. If any of you got more than the list of taxonomies I have, okay, you can let me know that as well, because like I said, yes. Okay. List. Okay, I'm just going to put that list in the chat window. Okay, so as you can see, there are like tens of taxonomies, right? So maybe who knows which is going to. I have so far used Webb's depth of knowledge. I have used Solo. I have used Finks. Okay, and of course Bloom's we anyway always use because that's part of our cycle which we always go through, right? All our lesson plans usually carry Bloom's itself. Yes. Yes, Faisal, that's what we're going to see. Okay, we'll come back to that because we'll be now, that's exactly what we're going to do. We will be doing for the higher level itself for evaluate and create. Okay, and trust me, when we use Solo and Fink, it makes much more effective case study, and also tell you all on how to design reflection questions so that your case study becomes much more impactful and meaningful once when we finish that. So don't worry on that. Our entire journey of completing the loop is going to be through that. But if I give you the direct process of how we are doing, then it might not make so much of impact, right? So that's why we are going slow step. We are also connecting to the research points. And then we are moving with all the methods which are validated by the research. Okay, that's what we are doing. So don't worry on that part. Faisal sir, we will be getting there. Okay, we will be doing that. Yeah, so let's continue. I think you all had a good, quick enough break. We have around 24 minutes to go. I know you all are a lot excited. Like I said, whatever we are learning and understanding is not some random theory because it works well. I have spent at least around 2 to 3 years researching and reading about how well AI can be connected. Can someone now, if you remember, type me in the chat window, what was the main concept which we were talking about? What was that? It was 3 letters. Okay, it's basically from Vygotsky scientist. There's something which I said that we are discussing now, and all this entire relation is coming from that principle itself. Does anyone remember? The abbreviation was 3 words. It starts with Z actually. If you remember, type it in the chat window. We can give a round of applause if you can remember. Otherwise, I understand. It's perfectly fine. Okay. ZPD. Yeah. Who was that? 161. Can you please type your name so that. Okay, 142 and 161, the IDs are there. If you can type your name, Raman Kumar sir has also said yes. Okay, yeah. Athar sir, yes, exactly. Okay, yes, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for all of you for remembering it. It's called zone of proximal development. Remember, we are talking about what students already know and what are we trying to connect to them. What is that which they don't know? And that's how we are establishing a relationship. In that journey, we took advantage and leverage of how LLMs are going to help us. Okay, that's what we are doing now. Before we go ahead, one short and small description. Yes, it's Vygotsky's principle, by the way, zone of proximal development. Alternatively, it's also called liminality case studies. Okay, liminality is also about playing between known and unknown, bridging or building a bridge between these two things which are there amongst the students. Identifying what students actually know. Okay, yes. Yes, Sahana, yes, did see that. Thank you for mentioning it. And for everyone who came up with ZPD, thank you for listening and thank you for being attentive. That does make a lot of difference to the session that we are having now. Okay, yes, so thank you. Before we go ahead, okay, Yes, threshold concept can be used everywhere. Okay, basically this premise is coming from a Canadian university which was used as medicine boxes or problem boxes to teach in the medical. Okay, it can be used in medical subject also. Threshold concepts are not limited to a single domain. They can be used in every other subjects, in every other domain as well. They are relevant universally. So every year, every periodically Cambridge Book of Analytica, it's called CHEER, actually publishes certain articles. Threshold concept article was one of the major one which I took through when I was reading it around 10 years ago. And that's how it became part of the research process. Let us now go ahead and quickly sum up, okay, before we go in on what exactly do we mean so far? So we started with by understanding how principles are relevant. We understood that there is more than Bloom's taxonomy. We saw the library case study to understand actually solo, and because you picked it as favorite, right? It's not just me who was talking about it. You all said second and third your favorite. We went to the LLM again and we asked which is the right taxonomy which I can use for my case study. And some of you have got solo, some of you have Bloom's. We will go ahead and we'll actually keep up with, we will keep up with whatever is going to happen to us. Before we finish session today, let's go and fill up the most important column of the case study generation. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to now talk about the most crucial part, which is this part. Okay, what students already know. Okay, let me quickly go to, okay, there is some solo coming in. I see that none of you, okay, there is Fink coming in. Sheikh Rahima ma'am, yes, it's happy to see Fink's. I'm really sorry if I mess up with the genders. Please excuse me on that part. Okay, I'm really sorry. I'm trying my best, but I'm happy to see that there are some solo and Finks coming in. But don't worry, we will use as many taxonomies as possible. Okay, so let's come to this main part of what students already know. Okay, now see, remember threshold concepts. It's something about changing or it's transformative. But we know that our students already know certain things relevant to this concept. We don't want this to be technical perspective. I want you all to think about non-technical perspective. For example, when I'm talking about the traversal, everybody knows how to reach home, right? Everybody knows about what are the different routes which I can take. Everybody knows about technical concepts by far are different. Let me take something else so that you all can relate it in a much better way. Okay. Let's say, for example, Jayanti ma'am says there is something called technical textile. Now, for technical textile, what is that students already know? Students already know that how textile industries are working, and possibly there could be a case of automation included in it. Okay, that's something which students know. I can see that Sanket sir and Swapna ma'am have written English and in that case poetry. And what students already know, students know about different rhyming schemes. Students know what is simile, what is metaphor, what are different devices by which the poems can be written. And students know that understanding poetry can be very melodious, it can be soothing experience and so on. Okay. Say, for example, I'm skipping some of them, okay, because it's kind of difficult for me to comprehend other domains as well. Say, for example, Prachi ma'am says multimodal communication. It means I can write, I can speak, I can draw a diagram, I can listen. There are several ways by which I can communicate, right? And students already know that. Similarly, let's talk about, thermodynamics. When I talk about thermodynamics, what are the different principles which students know and what are the things which they can connect to the social aspects? I don't want you all to be writing about the things which are technical. I want you all to be writing about what do they know from the social aspects. So let's go ahead and slowly fill up this column now. Okay, see, students know, say how to do a traversal. Okay, say for example, I'm writing, see, for graph traversal, from a sociological angle, what do students know? Remember, we are connecting Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. Technical will come later, okay? But I want it to be something else. Sonali ma'am, before saying request and response in communication, do students know that when a question is asked, they know how to respond? I want you to write that first and then go to the technical aspect that it is also same in the communication. That is going to help you to make a very meaningful case study, which we are going to see very soon. Okay. So in my case of graph traversal, my students know about paths to be taken. Okay. This is the first part. See, everybody knows that in order to make a traversal, I need to take different paths which are there, right? Then what else do I think my students know? I'll keep the technical part later. Okay, see, it is the traversal. It means there is going to be a pathway. Then there's going to be a direction possibly. I need to know, students know about direction, right? They know that there is a certain directed pathway they are supposed to be taking. Now my students also know. I'm now putting technical things. Okay, they know about graphs. What else do they know about? They know about traversal. Okay, they know about that traversal in layman way. Okay, that's what I have written it here. Okay, yes. So let me quickly format it. Yeah. So slowly go ahead and write. What do you think your students already know about? Okay, there could be some more things which you could connect with time. For this part, I would recommend, please don't go ahead and ask LLM, because this is something which you know from your class aspects. Okay, Deven sir, for 1D and 2D array, students know about storage, arrangement, seat, vacant place. Exactly. Now that's exactly how I want you all to be writing. Take a technical concept, think it in a non-technical way, think it from a sociological perspective. Think how do we behave in the social order and write those things. And those who are not able to edit. Usually Google allows around 70 people to edit. If you're not able to edit the sheet, don't worry. Like I said, make a local copy. Once when the session ends, come back here and then make a data so that Saturday it will be much more easier for you. Okay. Deven sir, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to know. After that, you can also add implicit addressing. They know about implicit addressing, right? They know that some memory can be contiguous and so on. Okay, that's what I want you all to writing. Correct. Sonali ma'am, now it's perfectly right. Computers can connect and exchange data over a network. Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Okay. Sentence construction, paragraph writing. Yes, exactly. That's exactly, Arvind sir, what I was looking for. I want you all to be writing the minimal things which students know from a sociological perspective. So go ahead. I know this is going to be a challenging task. Amber sir, about proof of is it pay and noise analysis and digital communication, L1, L2 of RBT. Can you go a little more simplified one and then write more? I know technically they know that, but from real-time social aspects, what else do already know? Okay, put something, because the more you put from the social analysis, okay, the probability and error. Okay, got it. You can actually go ahead and write something else which is coming from sociology, which the students already know, which they can connect to a real-time example. Okay. Tanmay sir, yes, overfitting and underfitting. They know the curve fitting statistical method. Perfectly right. Do they also know that about this? This could be interesting, right? See, don't students also know about, let's say there is a flood coming in or there is a drought coming in. They know that extremes are not good, right? I'm just going to add this one. Okay, you can add as well. Along with this, you can also add, students know that extremes are not good, right? When they know that concept, it will be much better for you to generate the case study. So please do go ahead and add that part as well. Okay. Know about the dimensions of the object. Shubharao ma'am, yes, they know about dimensions of the object. They know about the scales. What else they also know about from the sociological perspective. The more sociological you add, the better your case study is going to be. Sahana ma'am, for linked list, other than the principles, they also know about how to connect different entities. They know that memory is not in the same place. They know that connection happens through certain pointers which are there in layman life. Okay, I want you to add as much description as possible. Okay, yeah, I'm scrolling now. I can see that, okay, there are blooms here as well. Ashinya ma'am, yes, database tables, attributes, data redundancy. Okay, for concept of normalization, don't students already also know that keeping a structured, meaningful data organization might make their operations easier? That's something they also know, right? So I want you to write those itself, those also. Okay. Yeah. So please do write all the things from sociological perspective and from technical perspective. Okay. It's something which they know. Remember, we are dealing about zone of proximal development. We are exactly talking about how exactly we are connecting from the known entity to unknown entity. Okay. That's exactly what we have done so far. Good to see that all. Athar sir, yes, know about beam, column, support. Yeah, could get it from civil. But what else? Have they seen the construction before? Do they know about anything else which they can go about and write? Madhvi ma'am, yes, they know about the data. They have visualization idea. They also know that putting something in the form of graph actually makes more visually appealing, right? They also know about that. So please do that. Technical, non-technical, have a mixture of both of them. Okay. So for good. Yeah. Yeah. We want this. I'm just gonna, okay, I'll do that later. Okay. This is the exploration which we are doing. Okay. So don't go for anything next. There is one small activity which we are going to do before we close. Okay. As you've finished all of it, go to this question sheet. Okay. So pick up the same row which you're in. Like, for example, here you have picked up row number 4. Okay. Yeah. You have picked up row number 4. Then even in this question sheet, go for row number 4 itself. Okay. Enter your name and just make a list of earlier when you tested this concept from the student, what kind of questions we used to ask. Usually I used to give some examples and ask them to trace. Okay, this is how I did my evaluation, examples and trace. Or I used to say write programs. Okay. I used to say write programs. What else did I did? That's it. Then I used to ask some explain and define questions. Okay. This is what I did. So you're just writing what is the kind of evaluation which you did earlier, and please do pick up the same row so that everything remains intact. Okay. In exploration, if you are at row number 22, even the question sheet, please pick up row number 22, write your name again and say before using the case study, what kind of questions you used to earlier ask. Okay. In simple terms, for example, I asked them to write an example, or I asked them to write a program. I asked them to print, or I asked them to prepare a blueprint, or I asked them to write a simple portfolio presentation. Whatever was the kind of evaluation which you did earlier, just write them out. Okay, that's what you're going to do as one last task for today. Right, the answer says, why is it required? Explain about the topic, the theory with example, code snippets, sample Q&A. Okay, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, what I'm trying to highlight is, look, for a threshold concept, do you see that we are not actually testing students in a right way? Because see, like Athar sir says, examples of types of beam support, we're just asking the basic questions around them, right? Possibly. I'm also looking for anything else. Yes. Joyjit sir says, for the concept, small algorithms. Yes. That's a kind of question which we are looking for. Yes. Let me draw the line till 200. Yes. Okay. Okay, let me put up the columns. Yes, now it's ready. Go ahead, put your name and put the kind of questions we used to ask. Okay. See, sometimes as an educators, we kind of do a lot of mistakes unknowingly as well, right? We got to know that whatever we were teaching is exactly a threshold concept, and look at the kind of questions we are asking. We are just asking, we know that it's a transformatory concept, which is actually bringing a change in the student's mind. And we are still asking questions like define this, explain this, write an example for this, like which might not be the right way of evaluating. Okay. Yes. Okay. Kavita ma'am, yes. Threshold concepts, leadership and building organization, Bloom's level 4 and solo. You can keep it to solo because I'm pretty sure it will give you an amazing case study. Okay. You can do that. Okay, so go ahead and edit that. That's the main takeaway. Okay, like I said, there was a crucial concept which we were doing, and we are just asking questions like define this to me, explain this to me. Maybe we are not doing the right kind of justice even to the students who are working towards it, because yes, the kind of questions we asked, the way we asked them was not done it in an orderly way. Okay. Maybe this is a time where we improve and we present it really in a good way so that students actually understand and analyze, or maybe go to the higher level, considering the brooms itself, like how to set that create level questions, how to go ahead with that analysis or evaluate kind of questions, which actually makes an impact in our teaching. Okay, that's exactly what we're going to see as well. What we're going to do is, this is what I had actually planned for today's part. The more on unknown, the more on principles, generating the different case studies, analyzing what we have, and a sample case study. All of them will be continued in a part 2 when we meet back on Saturday. Okay, so I'm hoping all of you all to be there actively participating like the way we did now, and doing the final closure to understand, oh, how is that we are doing case study. Okay, for now, for today, I want you all to appreciate how actually LLMs and AI can make our life better. Our students are using it, because if I was not having this knowledge, if I was doing on this own, it would have taken me possibly a lot of time to understand different taxonomies, understand what it is, write a case study on my own, and then go ahead and use it in my sessions. Rather, we know that there is LLM. How do I make the best use of it? Remember how I said pencils and pens have been replaced with the quills. Like, changes are going to happen. LLM is going to stay, but we need to know where to use and when to use it. So for what we'll do is, if you're still editing the sheet, go ahead and finish it off before you sleep, so that it'll be a good case when we meet back. If there is anything else, like say, for example, what do students already know, or if there is anything else which you want to go ahead and do it, please do finish it off as well, so that next time when we meet, we have everything ready to complete the remaining part and to understand whatever part was required. Okay, on that part. Plus, what I want you all to take away is, we have seen how to give certain prompts. We have seen about different taxonomies. We have also seen how exactly and what is the right kind of taxonomy which we need to pick for the given concept which we are teaching. For the remaining 3 minutes, we can have a quick Q&A. Arvind sir, if there is an option to raise a hand, or if they can talk, we can go for it. Or if you have any other announcements to be made in the 3 minutes, we can go as well. Or if any questions coming up in the chat window, we can take it up as well. Okay, that's what we can do for the remaining 2 minutes.
So participants can ask questions in the chat window. So participants can ask questions in the chat window.
Okay, using the medical subject example, that's what we were looking for. Okay, let's say, for example, in the medical, what I've known as insulin, right? Insulin is studied all through the years, right? I have a doctor friend nearby to me, okay? He had told me that, I'm hoping you can connect it to, right? Insulin is one concept which is studied all through year, and every year it changes with a perception. First year students have a different knowledge of it, second year and so on. So insulin understanding is one of the threshold concepts, okay? And that's a good medical example which I can give. Any concept, even in the medical, if you think it's going to be transformative, it's going to change students' perception, that's going to be a threshold concept. It's not that only Bloom is preferred. I would say that other part other than Bloom is actually going to make a significant impact as well. We'll see it once when we generate more case studies as we go ahead for the Saturday session. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Any other questions, to let me know. And yeah, ATAL AI 107 Mamo sir, I'm hoping that kind of clears you what is a threshold concept. Okay? Yeah, and we'll be talking about all of the taxonomies and many more interesting things when we meet back. Okay, don't worry on that part. Yeah. Yes. So what we'll do is, I'm hoping that the session was informative. Like I said, when we finish the session, we will be having a ready to use case study into the classrooms. And trust me, your students are going to love it as well. And like I said, this is not something which has come out of random. All of it is based on how exactly research can actually make an impact when collaborated with AI. And I'm really glad that I know that all of us had a tiring day. And I know that we all have a really long day to come in, and I was hyper happy to see all of your excitement doing the activity along with me and completing it. And I believe that's what makes the session much more meaningful, right? Yes. Selvi ma'am, maybe the reason is the accreditation bodies have told us that this is what we are supposed to be doing, and that definitely needs to be changed, and management needs to take a decision on that. Okay. Yes, Faisal sir, what we'll do is we'll come back to that. Okay, tools and technologies most useful. That's what our next session is going to be. It's 9:30 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all again on Saturday. Arvind sir, over to you. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Really a wonderful and engaging session. I think all the participants agree with that. We can see the chat there, everyone posting thank you and saying engaging session. Really, thank you, sir. Though the complete what you wanted to teach, it's only half today. Though the half is remaining, but still we got exposure to new concept today. The ZPD, the liminality case study topic, the threshold concept, different taxonomies, and the way you taught us to use LLM for that, and most of all, the analogies you used to teach us the concepts, and the activity mode you implemented here. Truly, it was all very engaging, informative, sir. Though we were exhausted since morning, your session was really engaging. I think we really mean that, and thank you for the wonderful session. And we are waiting for the second part, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you once
sir.
again, sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. I had a good time.